Hey everybody, VSG Joe here. Going to do another cooking series. Today we are going to make some sliders. So sliders, just mini hamburger, chicken burger, some kind of burger. So today we're actually going to do some just blue cheese sliders. I'm also going to make onion and mushroom, caramelized onions and mushrooms to go on it. And we'll get into all that. So to get started, as far as ingredients, pretty simple today. I got some ground beef. I believe this is 90-10 ground beef right here. To go inside of that, I've got a half a cup of blue cheese crumbles that we'll use inside of there. I've got 1 egg that we'll use as a binder to make sure that the hamburgers or the sliders stick together. For the caramelized onions, I've got just whole white onions sliced. I've also got just I grabbed some, eyeballing it. It's maybe 3/4 of a cup of mushrooms. These are already sliced and washed, so I didn't have to deal with them. They were a little bit bigger than I wanted, so I just chopped them down into the size I thought would be what I wanted for my burger. So that's it. And then I'm gonna use about a tablespoon of butter. I got this left over from Thanksgiving and cooking, so I'm gonna use it. If you got margarine or a tub of butter or whatever, just put about a tablespoon in. It'd be fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're actually gonna start off by caramelizing the onions and mushrooms. So I'm gonna just take a very little bit, maybe half a tablespoon of olive oil and a tablespoon of the butter, put that in a pan. Go ahead and drop my onions down in there and get that going, and then we'll start mixing up these sliders and making those. So I'm gonna get those things going, and I'll be back with you guys in just a moment, and we'll get it, everything up and running. All right, everybody, we've got the onions going, just a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of butter. The mushrooms are still on the board, so you don't want to put those in right away, because they'll get rubbery if you cook them for too long. Also, they will continue to soak up all the butter and oil that are in the pan. So you really want your onions to go first before you add in your mushrooms. Otherwise, you'll have to keep adding butter, keep adding oil to keep them from burning. So while that's going, we're gonna go ahead and start making our sliders here. So this is 1 3/4 pound of just ground beef. I think this is 90-10. Use 80-20 if you want, that's fine. Whatever you're into is fine. So to it, we're gonna add the egg that I mentioned before in the bowl, and this is, like I said, a half cup of blue cheese crumbles. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. I'm not putting in any salt, pepper, or anything like that at this point, and there will be no breadcrumbs, so you don't have to worry about any of that. But we'll go ahead and get in here and mix this up. All right. And the key is, when you're mixing this up, you just want to get it to where it's just incorporated. If you over mix it, it gets really tough and kind of sticks together a bit more, and you'll get a tougher hamburger, or a tougher slider in this case, instead of a tougher, or instead of a nice juicy one. So, all right, I think that is it. So all I'm going to do is take a little bit of this out. You can eyeball it, make them as big or as little as you want to. Just remember, at some point, if you're making them bigger, it's just a hamburger, not a slider at that point. So I'm gonna get them about like that, and let's go ahead and squish them out. And you do want to make them a little bit bigger than you think that you want them, because they are going to shrink as they cook up. So there we go. So we got the slider right there, about that big. We're going to go ahead and set that one down and start making one more here. And I said I hadn't put any salt, pepper, or anything like that in there yet. I'm not going to. What I like to do with my seasonings for hamburgers is actually put it on the top of the hamburger, because it'll actually help it form a better crust. So, and I keep saying hamburger, we're making sliders, guys. There we go. All right, so I'm just gonna finish forming these up. I'm gonna go ahead and check on my onions that are cooking behind me, and we'll get back to you guys in just a minute when we're ready to start these. Now that you're at this point though, go ahead and actually start your pan. I've got a cast iron pan on the stove right now. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on to medium-high heat. I wanted to get good and hot, that way when you put the slider down, you get a nice sizzle and it'll form a nice crust on the outside. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that going, and we'll see you guys here in just a bit. All right, everybody, and we are back. My onions here have been going, and they are translucent right now. They're getting kind of soft, so now is the time when you want to put in your mushrooms. So let me go ahead and grab those. And if I drop any, we've got the dogs to clean that up. Alright, so we're going to get those in. We're just going to give them a quick stir just to incorporate them. And that's it. And then at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of salt and pepper to this as well. Alright, and we'll let those go. Our pan's getting hot over here, so before we get the actual sliders on, what we want to do is, I use this AP rub from Killer Hogs. It's a great product if you haven't used it. This isn't an ad. I don't get paid anything. Malcolm Reed, the guy that actually makes this stuff, doesn't probably know I exist, but I use this stuff on everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this over the top of the sliders, and this will help it get a nice crust. If you don't have this, feel free to just use salt and pepper. If you want to throw a little onion garlic powder on there, that wouldn't hurt either. So, alright, so just a little bit on there. You don't want to go too crazy with your salt on this because the blue cheese is salty by itself. So that is it. We're going to hold that. That way when we put those in, we'll hit the other side once they're in the pan. So as you can see, my pan is screaming hot. So we're going to take and just start putting in the sliders. I did put a little oil in the pan as well to help it make sure that these don't stick. There we go. It looks like I'll have room to get 4 of them in my pan. Just don't overcrowd your pan when you're doing it, guys. You can get in 4 or 5, whatever you can get in, that's fine. And like I said, I am using cast iron to try to give it a better crust. So now that they're down, what I'm actually going to do is take my thumb and put a little thumbprint in each one of them, and that'll help them keep from puffing up. So, all right. So we got that on there. Clean hand always. This hand hasn't touched any of the raw meat, so we don't have to worry about cross contamination. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle some of this on this side. That way, when we go ahead and flip them, we're all set to go. So. Alright, that's it. So these are probably going to go about 2 minutes per side to get about medium well. If you want to cook yours well done, just cook them longer, that's fine. But we're going to go ahead and let these cook a little bit, and I'll show you when we flip them, we'll get a nice crust on them. So we'll be back in just a moment, guys. Alright everybody, we are back. It's been about 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes, and we're ready to flip these guys. So let's take a look. Oh yeah. So you can see we got a really nice crust on the outside of these going. Alright. Those look great, and they've actually shrinking down a little bit, and I noticed I have an uneven number because this made about 3.5 ounce sliders. So I'm going to go ahead and actually drop another one in here. And when you do that, it will reduce the heat in the pan. So if you notice that your pan's getting too hot and you have room, throw another one in there, turn it down just a little bit. It'll keep them from burning. As you can see, we got the fan going because cast iron does produce a lot of smoke. But same thing. We're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper or this AP rub to it. And we're going to give it a little dollop in the middle with our thumb. Keep it from puffing up. And we're going to let these go about 2.5 minutes. I did actually already get a cookie sheet with a rack on it. That way once these are done, we can set them right down on the rack to cool. All the liquid will go through the bottom, and you'll keep your crust on both sides instead of having one side soggy. So that's it. Other than that, just keep stirring your onions and mushrooms. Mine right now are looking pretty good. So they're just cooking, getting softer and softer. And we're rocking and rolling, guys. We're almost done. Be back in just a moment. All right, everybody, we're back. These guys are done. So then go ahead and just pull them out. Bring this a little closer so I don't make a mess in the kitchen. Guaranteed way to make your spouse upset. Just stir you up the kitchen for them. Alright. So those are coming off. I'm going to flip the one we already had in from last time. And we're just going to start the next set. Alright, extra credit for anyone that knows what we're about to do. If you said season and thumb them, you are correct. All right, there we go. And as you can see, that little indentation really just keeps them from rising up so that you don't have a circle anymore. So those are done. And onions and mushrooms, they're soft, they're ready to eat now. I'm gonna let them go a little bit longer so that they can get some more color on them. We'll get to them when we finish this up. And when we get back, I will go ahead and show you guys how I plate this up so that, show you how we're gonna plate it up, how we're gonna have our dinner tonight. So be back in just a moment, guys. Alright everybody, so we are back and it's time to eat. So I'll show you guys how I plate this up for myself. You know, I had vertical sleeve gastrectomy or weight loss surgery back in July, so it's been about 4 months now, give or take. So show you what I'm eating right now. So go over and just grab me a slider off of there, and then I'm gonna get me some caramelized onions and mushrooms as my vegetable component for the night. Alright, so got that on there. And now this is actually blue cheese dressing that I made. It's a bit thick, but it's really simple. It's basically throwing a bunch of ingredients in a bowl. It's about 5 ingredients, so I don't know if that's a bunch, but I'll put the recipe down there, what I used. But I'm just going to take a little bit of this and right down there, and I'm done. So that's really all there's going to be for me. For my kids, however, they're going to have some broccoli, so take that. Grab a slider for them. They really don't, I know one of my kids doesn't like the blue cheese dressing, so they're going to put some ranch on the side for them. They don't like the onions and everything, but they'll eat it like that. If you're further out or if you're not a weight loss surgery patient, these sliders are really good on Hawaiian rolls. That's what we used to eat them on, because you get a little sweetness in there to kind of mix with the saltiness of the blue cheese and the fattiness of the beef. So that is really good. Or if you're, like I said, you're further out, you can have some breads and stuff like that. One of the things that my wife does, she's further out, is she'll use a Hawaiian roll, but she will peel a lot of the bread out of the middle of it. So she still gets to have some carbs and stuff with it, but it's also a lot less than what a traditional Hawaiian roll would be. But that's it, guys. We're actually getting ready to eat now because I'm filming this and cooking dinner at the same time, multitasking. So we're going to let you guys go. We're going to go eat, and I appreciate you guys watching. As always, don't forget to subscribe, give me a like, and leave a comment if you're going to try them. Always check out my Instagram as well. If you do make them, you know, tag me on Instagram. Let me know how it came out, guys. But I appreciate you watching, and I am out. Have a good one.